Starting in five, four, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cast. I'm your host, Tin.
I'm your host and your best friend, Alan.
So, it's been a while, guys. It's been almost a whole month and a half since we released another since our last episode. It was like the end of March, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually recorded another episode. However, in the middle of April, we didn't think it was very up to our standards on content wise. We didn't think it
Like
was a really good episode.
Tin edited it and he sent it to me and he was like, all right, listen through it and just like uh do some last minute stuff, just like fill in some uh just type up some stuff for the description. And I listened to the episode and I was like, this shit is so boring.
It's kind of hard to have things to talk about when you're not really doing much these days. But we hope that our content can stay relatively good per se. At least give something people would listen to, you know.
Yeah. Because when you're doing the same stuff every day, it's hard to think of interesting things or just like you can't do anything fun, so you can't talk about that.
Hard.
But we have some good ideas today, so
Yeah, we've come up with some structure. Usually we go on off the dome, but we have a little bit of some direction to go towards.
I think that's a better word for it. It's direction. It's not
Yeah.
structure. It's just more like we have jumping off point.
Hmm. So I found a post on Reddit. Basically this person is asking for advice. And his title of the post said, "Not sure if my wife is attracted to me anymore."
So before we read it, what made you just like pick this one? What about this post stood out to you?
It what That's a good question actually. The reason why it stood out to me because it's something that I'm unfamiliar with, but I want to like see if I can draw anything from it.
Right. Just
Like
like
I
get
want
into
to,
that headspace a little bit.
yeah, because it also like it begs the question for myself, like, will I run into these problems too later on in life? You know, like because I haven't dealt with this personally yet as myself, but maybe I can contribute to something. Maybe it prepares me in the future. If it were to happen, I'll have an insight on what to do.
Right. You've already thought about it,
Yeah,
so you're not like blindsided by it.
exactly. So it allows me to prepare myself if I were ever to come to the situation, or if I can like do something to prevent the situation from getting to that point, perhaps.
Right.
But yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
All right. So the title of the post says, "I'm a 38 male and married to a 36-year-old female. For background, we started dating 18 years ago and have been married for 14 years. We have two kids, 12 and 10. We're each other's first everything. Never been with anyone else. We've had our ups and downs like any other marriage, worked it out, figured it out, etc. Maybe it's my own insecurities with the fact that I'm not in the same shape I was when we first met, or that my hairline has receded or something else. I'm pretty sure if I were to ask her this outright, I get a response of course, I love you. But I don't think affection is the same as attraction. Here's some of what's been leading to this thought. We still have sex and it has been fairly regularly, like once a week. I suppose I can't say every time with any certainty, but pretty much always in the early morning on the weekend when we're both off work. Always initiated typically through morning kiss I give her, but that just builds. She used to occasionally initiate, but doesn't anymore. But it's not just about sex. Even when it's just holding while sleeping, it's pretty much all me now. If my arm doesn't drape around her, we'd be apart. This was actually led to my first time consciously having this train of thought. I went to bed last night and laid down next to her. She was laying flat on her back, unusual for her. I draped my arm over her and gave her a little squeeze for a hug. And it was like I was hugging a mannequin. No reciprocation. I held my arm there for several minutes before picking up my arm and rolling over to my side. No response from her, and I think eventually she rolled over to her side at some point, facing away from me. Basically, I'm as in love with my wife as the day I married her. I'm as attracted to her as I ever was. There are days I would be at work and stop to think about how much I loved her and wanted to be with her. I have to assume there was at least about point she was attracted to me. But as I lay here in bed while she gets ready for work, she's an essential worker in a hospital while I'm off for the pandemic. It also occurred to me that I never knew what it was that she was ever physically attracted to. She never said. Was she attracted to the hair I no longer had? The flat stomach and abs I no longer have? Is this all in my head? Even if she isn't, I'm not even sure what I would do. I guess I just need a new perspective on this, on how to breach the subject with my wife, or even if I should. Any thoughts? And basically the title of this post says, I'm not sure if my wife is attracted to me anymore. So, yes. I think that like at some point this thought has also sometimes like hit me in the at some points in my relationship with Tiffany as well. Like I was like, does she even like, still feel like attracted to me or anything? Or I ask myself that question sometimes, but I'm always bringing myself back to my grounded self. I'm like, no, like I know she's like, I talked to her about it and she's like, no, Tim, like don't ever think that. She'll always telling me to be myself, which is like the best reason why I love her. And I don't know, it's hard to say, but in his point of view though, it's really hard for me to have a concrete like answer. But like maybe it's like a rough patch that he's kind of going through. Maybe he's overthinking a small situation that's
Yeah. So as soon as I read this, I was like, I totally relate. Not to this specific situation exactly, but
Mhm,
I've definitely gotten to the point where I get into my own head like this guy is, like
mhm,
it's just you start just like overthinking these really small moments. Like like that part where he's just like he draped his arm over her and gave her a squeeze and she was like not reciprocating. And then
mhm.
he's like, oh shoot, it means she doesn't love me anymore. Like it's just like a tiny moment that causes him to start thinking or going down this like rabbit hole of thought.
Yeah, it's just like I guess he has so much more time now that he's off of work that he's kind of thinking more about other things that he didn't have to think about before too. And then for him to start thinking about that more and more, the small little stuff, it's starting to eat him up because I'm sure on her mind she's like thinking out more about work. I think since she works in a hospital, it's probably a
Yeah.
very stressful time at this point in life. And this also like kind of brings back to what you said about how don't think too much if she hasn't like said anything yet, or don't assume that she's feeling that way unless you talk to her about it.
And I think he has the right mentality. He's saying he needs help advice breaching the topic with her. Like he's gonna talk to her about it, which is I
Hmm.
think a good thing.
Definitely, you always want to have communication,
Right.
and like that's
But
the
then
first steps.
so how would you go about breaching the topic with someone like just be like,
Oh, I
you
just go
can't
up.
just, hey, are you still attracted to me?
No,
You know?
definitely not. I will kind of
Because
like have him
really
sit down, like, or just if in the moment, if we're doing something together, like let's say she's off of work one day, um, I would, and we're just spending time together, like I don't know, cooking together or watching TV or movie. It's just like if we're already there together and not doing anything else at that moment, then I'll just kind of bring it up, like, hey, I don't know if it's just me, but lately I've been kind of feeling
yeah,
like this,
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking
you
like
know.
it would, instead of asking like, hey, are you still attracted to me or do you still find me attractive? It's more about like, hey, this is how I've been feeling,
Hmm.
and then she can respond or settle those fears for him.
Yeah, just and like the situation has to be right too. It's not something you should ask in a passing moment. If she's like on her way to work, you're like, hey, Like,
Like she was thinking about it.
yeah,
Like
like
all
what she exactly when she was already thinking about how to go to work, and you're just worried about trying to get to talking to her the situation. That's all about how you have to preface the environment. Like you have to have time together, settle some time together, and talk about it where you already have that time together. But yeah, that's how I go how I would go about it.
Do you think the fact that they're each other's first for everything changes the dynamic at all? Do you feel like um because they were each other's first, it's like harder to ask that question or harder to have that conversation? Or do you think
Mm,
it doesn't make a difference?
I say it would play a small factor to it because I know for me personally, I know that I am Tiffany's first, but Tiffany is not my first.
Right.
And I have talked to Tiffany about how like it hasn't come across my mind how that I wonder if she thinks about like the other opportunities of dating other multiple people and like
Right. Like if
you
she
know
feels like she's missing out on some kind of experience.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, it has like sat in the back of my mind, and I talked to her about it, but she's also told me like you know like even though you're my first 10, like even if I were to find someone else or what felt like I would need to find someone else or want to find someone else, I have set the bar really high for like a standard of a boyfriend kind of thing or a significant other, and she doesn't know if there's anyone who can like ever come to this to the standard or
Right.
bar that I've set. Um, so going back to the question, does having it them being first for each other play a factor? I would say a little bit, because then I can I would think that they would think that if their life would be different if it was with someone else, if it would be might be better for them, like they could be asking themselves like, I wonder if I had a family with this person, how my life would be with this person versus this person, you know? I'm not feeling happy about this. Maybe this person can give me this happiness over here, Or could have, would have. And then they're kind of like stuck in that thought.
Because speaking as someone who has done a little bit of dating around, it's terrible. I think like people there's like not that it wasn't a valuable life experience, but I feel like if I could go back and not do it, I would, you know?
Hmm. Really? I feel like,
Sometimes I feel like I would just would rather hmm, it's hard because sometimes I feel like, yeah, I've learned a lot. I learned like what I like and what I don't like and what I value, that sort of thing. But then at the same
mhm,
time, I'm like, I feel like that was a lot of time I could have spent like maybe I just like wish I found like the right person sooner. You know what I mean?
right.
It's,
That's true. I mean, it's hard because I
because
think,
when I see like people who end up with their first and then like they stay together and they people who like commit to that, I find that very like admirable
mhm.
versus like people who date around. It's like I don't know, it's hard.
Mm, that makes more. I would say admirable. However, for someone who dates around more, I feel like they get a better grasp of who would they want to end up in the
For
long
sure.
run.
For sure.
They
I agree
they
with that a lot.
yeah. Because if you even if you like put your all your what's it called? Putting your eggs all in one basket kind of thing, it might not turn out to be the best scenario, And
And you
then
have no other points of reference.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it might be too late before you find out that you're not really happy with this person after spending so long with them, or so spending so
Yeah.
much time with them. So while being with someone for so long is also a great thing to have, it could also be a very detrimental thing too. Like you have that history that you build on top of each other, but let's say in the very like a very long somewhere down the road, 6 years in, you figure out like shit, I don't know if I want this anymore, or you feel like
Yeah.
you hit that
Yeah.
snag, and then it's like I wasted this time where I could be finding out what I really want in a relationship. So it's really a give and take. It's really, yeah, I think both
There's
things
pros
have
and
pros and
cons.
cons to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's pros and cons. 'Cause on
Fortunately, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
on the one hand, I'm like, I'm I do value that experience of dating around, but then I think there's also like a romantic part of me who's like, wow, I wish I had just found the the right one, you know?
All right, but that's needless to say. I think time shouldn't have to have a a factor. Regardless of
Yeah,
how long you've been with someone, time shouldn't have to be a factor. It should be more so what you guys have in that moment and what you guys have for each other, and then where you guys can go from there. You know.
you're right. Because what ends up happening is people are like, they're like, oh wow, this if I break up with this person, it's wasted, time wasted, you know?
Hmm.
Or like, but then I feel like time, it's not necessarily a waste because you did learn a lot from it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then like I always tell people, it's like you can waste the last however many years, or you can waste the rest of your life. You know?
Hmm. Well, why has it be wasting? It could be more
Exactly.
so. It doesn't have to be wasting. It's more so years of learning.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it's like people. I just try to put it into perspective for people. It's like if you think of it as a waste, then it's like you can waste the last 5 years of your life, or you can waste the rest of your life if you stay with them. You know?
Right. Right.
But if you can spin it into a positive experience, then that's good. But
That's true.
if you can't, then get out.
So that, yeah, that like begs the question though. Does do you so you think that maybe, sorry, going back to what I was saying. In my experience, I think having I've been part of like 4 previous relationships. And I've learned a lot. Like I thought when I was with my previous relationships, I've always had that question, like, do I see myself like married to these girlfriends? Like while
Right.
while I was with them, do I see myself married to these girlfriends? Like uh in the long run? Do I see a family with them? Like when I asked myself those questions, it was crazy because there was some points where I would think like I don't like this part about them. I'm not really happy about this part about them. And I don't see this like if I were to be with them and then later on I have to deal with this the whole time. You know? I was like shit. I was like, do I really see myself? But I still kept trying to make it work kind of thing, you know? Like I was still happy in that moment, but I thought in the end game I didn't think it was. I thought more of like shit. I'm dealing with them more than I am being loving to be with them. I feel like. However, in my relationship with Tiffany now, it's like the complete opposite. I'm not really thinking about. I'm not really thinking about dealing with her. It's more about me actually like happy to be with her.
Right.
Like excited to be with her. I can see the end game with her. The Avengers end game.
And all your friends appear through circles.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, fucking it's like.
Then all your friends jump out.
Yeah, so it's actually very really nice, easing. But yeah, from those past relationships, I learned a lot too, like what I wanted in a relationship and how I would how I was being treated versus how I want to be treated, and how what I want from a girl. So it was actually very nice. I think that having that experience, and I can't. It sucks because I wish Tiffany does wouldn't have that kind of. I can't really say that she can't have it, but like I had that thought of wondering what it would be like. What can she look for, you know, in a relationship? Like what she knows what she wants in a relationship.
And I think so. Going back to the post, I think the fact that they've been together for so long is like, um, you just fall into like a comfortableness and a routine. So when something changes, even like a little bit, you pick
Mhm.
up on it right away, even if it's like not a big deal or like just a small thing. Just that, just the fact that something changed is like, wait, she's like acting a little different. She's like not um reciprocating hugs or whatever, you know?
Mhm. That's crazy. Even the smallest little things.
Do you feel like you feel that way with Tiffany? Do you feel like when something is just slightly off, you pick up on it right away?
Yes. Yes. I'll ask her about it too. Because if I know that she's acting a little unusual than her normal self, in which like even like a small little thing, it's she does it for me too. When I act different, when I do something different, she like picks up on my little small cues that I think that no one else could pick up on, but she picks up on it immediately. She knows me
Right. When you
very
think you're
well.
hiding it, you think you're being slick.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You're
She
like,
like
I'm
knows my.
fine. And she's like, are you okay? And you're like, what the? How
It's
did
like
you know?
sometimes I'm driving in the car, I'm just thinking about something. She's like, "Tin, what's wrong?" I was like, "How the fuck?" Like how? I was like,
Which
I was like,
mind
Tiffany,
reader?
yeah. I was like, what? How, dude? It's like I can tell. I was like, what? Like, it's kind of like like she just picks up on it immediately. She knows. I'm like, I'm very impressed. I gotta give you that. I'm really impressed. You know.
So
Apparently,
do you think
yeah.
in the case of the post, he's just like, is he picking up on something, or do you think he is just getting into his own head too much?
Um.
Could be a combination of both, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a combination of both, and I feel like the only solution to that problem is that he just has to talk to her about it.
Talk
That's
it out. Talk it
yeah.
out.
This communication is key. Really, you just gotta talk. Like,
It's hard. Talking is hard sometimes
it's,
because you get into your head and you're
well,
like,
if it's with your honestly, if it's with your significant other, it shouldn't be hard
true,
at all. It
true,
it should not be hard to talk about it. Like, if he really feels some sort of way, it should be the easiest thing to bring up. Like,
I think it's
even though you know you might get a heart like an answer you may not like, it should be like an easy topic. Not easy topic, but it should be easy to initiate that
right.
conversation. You know?
But I think from coming from us though, like two people who are like tend to share their feelings and wear their hearts on their sleeves a little bit more
Mhm.
versus like someone who's like we don't know this guy very well, you know. We don't know who this guy
Yeah.
is. He might be always super like reserved and you're always holding stuff back. And that's just like just how some people are, you know. Some people just don't like talking about their feelings as much.
Right. But that's the thing though. Like, I feel like
You saying like in a relationship it should be
you should be vulnerable to your
yeah.
significant. You should be able to be vulnerable to your significant other. You know?
I agree.
If you
I agree.
Your significant other should be someone who is able to understand you through your hard moments. Even if you
Right.
feel some like if they should feel a certain way, they're only feeling a way like they're only feeling that way because the like not to hurt you, but to just feel like it, you know? And they
Right.
the other person will on the receiving end should be able to understand them, not to feel like they're a victim of blame. Like, I understand how you're feeling, like,
And then like
you know,
above everyone else, even if you are reserved, even if you like tend to hold stuff back, your
definitely,
significant other should be the one person that you like are comfortable around,
exactly, yeah,
and the one person you can talk to about these sort of things.
yes, yes, yes. One person, regardless of how shy or timid you are to other people, to even to your like, even as nonverbal as you can be, like, you, you should be able to show the most vulnerability to your significant other.
I agree with that.
Even it doesn't have to be with words too. It's just kind of like showing them some way of communication.
Right.
Like, you know,
Not
a
everyone
bit,
communicates with talking.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that's how I feel. And like you shouldn't have to ever feel you shouldn't have to ever feel scared to tell your significant or feel like and your significant other shouldn't have to feel like they're being blamed for something. Like it's all about how you approach it. Like like I don't like how you do this. It's more like you should tell about how you feel about something. It comes true to the word when or the phrase when it said being assertive is by saying how I feel and not saying you did like you did this and da 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 da. It's like I
Right.
feel sad because this happened, or I feel this way because this happened, and don't put the blame on someone immediately. Just be like, I don't know if it's me or am I overthinking it. Like you have to like question everything about how you
Yeah.
feel, and like being vulnerable to your significant other to that point allows them to understand like, oh, like I don't think you're being, you have every right to think that the way you think, like I understand where you're coming from. I understand why what I did. It makes them feel like they're not being blamed for something, but realizing how their action affects you,
Yeah.
you
How
know.
you phrase it is really important
Hmm.
because I think like they always say like I statements are the most powerful.
Hmm.
Like I want, I need, I feel that sort of thing. Instead of saying like you made me do, like you make me feel like this. You made like it's
Yeah,
more like I feel this way. I want you to whatever, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But then you just have to be careful because it's like once you get into territory, like I feel like you do this, but then
yeah,
that's not really a feeling. That's more like an opinion, you know.
yeah. That's
I
true.
feel like you don't like me. And you're like, how do you feel like I don't? You know,
Yeah. I feel
it's
like
like,
you suck dick, You're like,
yeah,
I feel like you are angry all the time.
yeah. So it's like that's not a feeling. That's an opinion. So you should be like, I like I feel like you're like, for example, I feel like you're angry with me all the time. Is different than like I feel like you're angry all the time. You know, with
Yeah.
me, you know,
It's
there's like a very subtle difference between those two.
very subtle. There's, uh, it's definitely
It's like I
how you,
feel like you're really acting like a bitch right now.
yeah.
You're like,
It's definitely what you say and how you say it.
hmm
A lot of like, there's a lot of communication skills.
and like it's hard because then, like if you want to say something but you just can't get it out in the right way, you just say it slightly wrong and they take it the wrong way. Then it's
Hmm.
like it makes it even harder to communicate.
You know what I really hate when I hear sometimes in relationships? It's like when someone, I don't know, it's weird. It's how when someone tries to rationalize something they did because someone else did it.
Oh,
But
like, well, they did it. We can, you know.
yeah, it's like two wrongs don't make a right kind of thing.
Give an example.
Let's say for someone, I don't know, it's hard to come up with an example. Let's say person one did like did
You mean like
something.
one couple copying another couple, or you mean like one person in the relationship
Yeah,
like what do you mean exactly?
it could be both. Like one significant other doing something that like that does something that the other significant other does that doesn't like. Like they say, boyfriend goes out late at night, and but the girlfriend doesn't want him to do that. So so now that the girlfriend seeing the boyfriend do that, she goes out late at night, but he doesn't
Okay,
want her to
so
do that.
she's like,
It's like,
well, you don't like me going out, but you go out late all the time.
yeah,
That sort of thing.
yeah, and it's like, so what? Why can't I do it if you do it, kind of thing. And I don't know. I did like going
Why
out
does
late.
that
It's like,
bother you?
huh? Because it's
Why
kind
does
of
that
like
bother you?
you're trying to just because you're someone else is doing it. It's not really solving the like you're using that as an excuse for you to be okay with you doing it
Right.
when you don't feel okay about the other person doing it. But it's not more so like I feel like you just gotta talk it out instead of just like
Retaliating.
yeah, you know, and like come to an understanding more so than just like blaming.
Right. And
You know what I'm
instead
saying?
of yeah, say well if you, instead of saying like, well you do it, you can be like, okay, why does it bother you? And then you can talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I don't know. There's other like concrete examples, but I don't want to get into detail.
Right.
But it's nothing pertaining to my relationship. It's just like other what I
Things you've seen.
things I've seen or heard. Yeah, and I don't know. I digress. Let's move on. So you also had a post that you wanted to talk about too.
I did?
Yeah, didn't you have like oh, was that the post that you were talking about? Like first sweethearts?
It was related. We sort
Oh.
of got into it.
Mm.
Because the post I want to talk about was about it was like, oh, have I've only been with my high school boyfriend, or like I've only been with this person for I never dated anyone else. And it was just a post about like, am I missing out on an experience in my 20s? Like, should I um be like exploring my options? Basically, like a lot of the comments were like older couples who have been together for like 20, 30 years, and they're like, we don't feel like we missed anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're um like if you are in love with your significant other, then it shouldn't matter like
Yeah,
how many people you've been with.
exactly. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like as I think also as well. You don't. I mean, everyone carries that baggage with them in the relationship from previous relationships. But I think that baggage is something to learn on. That like nothing.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it should be weighing you down, but something that helps you grow. Well,
It's just like it's not a contest, right? It's not like
yeah, yeah,
it's like and like why fix a like don't fix a wait, what's the phrase? How's the expression go? Don't fix what's not broken or something like that.
that sounds about right. Right? I don't think I've heard that one before though.
Like don't fix what's not broken.
Makes
So
sense.
if you found someone that you like love, then like and you're happy,
Why
that's
change it?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then if you feel like you're not happy and you want to explore your options, then it's different. Then it's like, okay, then you have the the space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been with Tiffany for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And which brings me to my the question that I wanted to ask you. How long did it take for you to get comfortable with Tiffany's family? Like her immediate family,
Immediate?
like, or even just her, like all her cousins and stuff.
Hmm. Not long. I would say like even like the second or third time seeing them is all I really need to get comfortable. The first time is the uncomfortable one because I'm still trying to feel them out, kind of
Hmm.
thing. Like it's always the same as like I don't want to put myself like on a pedestal or anything or talk highly of myself, but I'm gonna have to in this point. But I'm very good. I'm very good at connecting with families. Like, and you
Like
can,
parents
yeah,
and
and you can see in very in like, and I how I know this is that because in my previous relationships, it's
it's never been an issue for you.
yeah, it's never been an issue for me
It's
at
always
all.
been easy.
It's very yeah, it's always been easy. I've always been really I've always been really good and at integrating myself with the family of my previous or relationships. Just because I I don't know how, but usually I come in with a respectable like manner,
Hmm.
introduce myself, and slowly shut as I do with any other like relationship with like friends or uh, new people that I meet. I slowly unravel myself a little more as I see them more and then act a little more in myself and they tend to like the way I act around them, you
I
know?
think like in general, you're very sociable, so that's already like a plus for you.
Mhm.
And then number two, you're also very respectful with parents and like elderly, not elderly, but like adults and like older people.
Mhm. I think a lot of that stems from my parents too,
Yeah,
because they always tell me to always like when you if you always go to someone else's house, like greet the parents, always say hi to them
for sure.
and back. And it was very more like I don't know if it was my family or a very Vietnamese traditional kind of thing, but they always told me even when I was a little kid I should always bow and say hi.
That's a Vietnamese thing.
Is it?
Cause yeah, cause I have cousins who do that.
Oh, and I didn't realize how unusual it was for me to do that too, because I would do that for like other Vietnamese families. Like I would go over Hiep's house, and I'll do it to his mom, and they're like, "Then you don't have to bow. What are you doing?" I was like, "What? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" But like
No,
her,
we did it at Phil's parents and my parents, and
uh,
they were very like surprised, but they were like, "That's awesome."
yeah. And honestly, I thought it was because when I was a little kid, my parents would always make me do that to my uncles and aunts, and it was more like it was expected kind of thing, you know.
And then
They
my parents were like, "When you go to Tin's house, do you do that?" I was like, "No, but I do greet them." She's like, "Ugh." She's like, "All right, at least you do that."
yeah. I've like as of lately, I feel like I've plagued my mind by going over people's houses so much I don't do as much anymore.
Hmm.
Which is
Yeah,
kind of
I
which
noticed it more like in the early days.
yeah, it's just a bad habit. Like I picked up a bad habit of not doing it anymore, which is I should like kind of go back to.
Yeah,
I thought about it and I was like, I
you
gotta start.
should. My parents love it.
Damn, you're right.
Well,
I
my
should.
mom loves it.
It's hard because sometimes I'm already sitting down, and then like, how do you bow while you were sitting down, dude?
You gotta stand up.
That's true. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. It's time to put that in the back of my head. Time to relearn reteach myself.
All right, I'll do it at your parents' house.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, but they don't expect you to do it. They just taught me to do that. They're like,
I know, but I feel like it's a good habit, and it's not like a bad thing, you know? There's no
hmm
harm from doing it.
exactly, yeah. Other than me looking like looking it felt weird because I was the only one doing it and no one else was doing it. I was like,
And
why is it?
like looking at you like, Tin, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, damn it, dude. I feel weird. That's when I started thinking about like, should I be doing this anymore? Letting people's opinions get to me, or opinion myself. But yeah, I mean, paying respects to families and like it shows a lot of character already, you know. And I think it puts down that like that wall of vulnerability, you know, like showing that hi, I'm here. Thank you for letting me in your house, kind of thing, and letting me spend the time with so and so. And that's for generally for the parents and the up and the adults per se. As for like cousins and stuff, it still I don't bow to them, but more so like it takes me like maybe a second or third visit to hanging out with them just to get to feel who they are and like
Mm.
uh how they react to like jokes and like what their opinions are if they're and then I can
I,
finally be myself around them.
I feel like it takes me a long time to get comfortable with, like, not even just like parents aside. That's like a whole like that's like a whole different thing because I feel like um you always have to be like we're just like raised as Asian people to be very respectful to our parents and like people of that who are older than us. So that's like a whole different thing. But I still find it like very hard to like, or not very hard. It just takes me a long time to like fully be myself around new people in
Mhm.
general, especially like um people that I like whose opinions I care about, you know? Like if it's your SO's like family, that's like people you want to like you, you know?
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah, there is that thought too. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to answer. It's hard for me to answer because it just even though it comes so naturally for me, I don't know what makes it easy for me to do. It's
Mm,
a feeling, you know.
yeah. And I feel like it's the sort of thing that like that just happens over time. You just get more and more comfortable the more you
Yeah.
hang out with them.
I mean, and it really helps if you just talk to them. Honestly, just ask them
Yeah.
questions like, "How was your day?" Just showing them some attention, just to make sure that you're not giving your significant other all the attention. Just making sure that you acknowledge that they're there and like you care about what goes on in their day. Like, how was this? How was your day at work? Like, do you do anything? Did you buy anything recently? Or like find out what their interests are. Like, oh, how you been? I don't know. Let's see. I know Dai is like into Zumba and something like working out a lot. So, I ask her like, "Oh, is this a new setup over here? Wow, looks so cool. Like, what do you do this every day?" You just kind of get talk about their interests and they'll have them talk about. And then for her dad, like he has his koi pond in the back. And I know he loves his fish, so that's like something to talk about. Just like bring up small conversation. He likes to cook too. It's like real easy just to be interested in things that they're interested in, and it'll come in no time.
Like Jessica came to visit recently
Hmm.
and that was like the first I'm not sure if it was the first time I've definitely met them before, I think. Jessica, Jeffrey, right?
Hmm.
I'm not sure. But when they came over, I was just like it felt like I was meeting them for the first time. And I was like I was like a little awkward. I was like, damn, like trying to think of stuff to talk about. I couldn't think of anything. I was like, so it's just like
But I felt like it was the
and
first
then
time again.
I was like then later though, I was like, why was I thinking so hard? I should have just like, talked to them, hung out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Because I
if
feel like I was just like, I don't know, I want them to like me. Yeah, I was getting in my head a little bit.
I think you're thinking too much about the situation and just talk to them as if they were your your own family or your own friends, you
or
know?
like I was just meeting new people,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like I can do that and like make small talk pretty easily
Yeah,
with new
exactly.
people. But then I think it was just like you're right. I was thinking like, all right, this is uh like SO's family. I want them to like
Mhm.
have a good first impression, or I just want them to not think I'm weird or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
Which is dumb because I am weird, so
Yeah. I mean, you
just
just
kind of
have to accept that everyone's weird. It's about showing your weirdness a little by little, you know? Little by little.
lure them in first, and then you're like, haha,
Yeah.
it's too late. You can't escape. I'm
Gotcha,
here.
bitch. You took the bait, motherfucker. I mean, yeah, it's just I mean, if count that as your first time meeting them. So then the next time that you see them, like, hey, Jessica, you know, be more excited.
Right.
Jessica, oh, Jeffrey, hey, long time no see. Even though make it little small jokes, like we just saw each other yesterday. Like, I know, long time, you know, little small jokes, you know, just close the gap a little bit. It helps a lot. It's just I don't know, be more personable. Don't see it as like an obstacle, but more so as an opportunity.
I mean, that's easy to say, like,
Yeah.
but doing it is like a little harder
And
because
like
you're
get
just so social, Tin. It's not fair. You just like,
no, it's not. I'm not sociable at all, dude. I don't know. I don't
you
like to
are.
think I am,
Why is that?
because a lot of shit goes on in my mind,
Mm, you
but
just,
I just try to block it out as much as I can. And
just
like just like put it to the back of my head and just talk, you know, just don't let it stop me from being me. And it helps the most because I guess in a way I have someone who already loves me for me, and that already is enough for me to be myself, like be more of myself towards anyone. If I was single, I would question everything that I do. Just because I used to have like low self-esteem,
yeah.
you know, but now that I have someone who loves me for me, I don't have to worry about any how anyone else feels about me, kind of thing, you know. I don't have to worry about how I feel about myself because there's someone else who loves me for me, regardless of how I feel about myself, you know.
Yeah.
And
Wow. Wow. That's nice.
so in that regard, I can really be who I want to be, and for someone to love me for that, and from the it really helps me myself to love myself as well, you know. So it's nice, yeah. But on like I guess on your end, it's just you have someone that you're with who likes you for you. Don't hold back. I mean, I don't think there's anyone. You're a great guy. I don't think there's anyone who's gonna like have any ill will towards you or any kind of feeling of that way towards you, right?
Right.
Do you love
True.
yourself?
I think in I think it's definitely helped like in the last couple of years because I feel like when I think back on, let's say, like my teenage years,
Hmm.
I was even worse. Like I would just like be so awkward meeting people for the first time. But I think like recently I've just gotten much more comfortable with myself and more comfortable with like um just like all right, some people are not gonna like you, you know? And
Hmm.
and that's okay, you know?
Yeah,
It's
that's
okay. It's
okay.
not okay to make everyone happy. It's not okay to do, or it's like it's okay to like um that like other people's opinions is not your not your priority. It's not your responsibility. You know,
Mm-hmm. That's true. Because you can't
like people
please
people can think
everyone.
whatever they want. You know,
Yeah.
or yeah, people can, it's like there's not much you can like. There's not much you want to do about it. You know.
And it's hard because you do want their family to like you though. That's like the
Yeah.
what you have. While you can't please everyone, but you do want to please a group of people, which is
Hmm.
family.
And that's why I have this problem, Tin.
Hey man, just be yourself, bro. Like
Yeah.
I really don't think as long as you don't put all like if there's other family around, don't put all your attention towards Sabrina. Like
Hmm.
give the family the attention that they should have too. Like you have enough time to spend time with Sabrina on your own time already. When they're around, give them the attention too. You know, just make it so that you're not always with Sabrina the whole time. That's really boils down to like get to know them. Talk to them. That's like when I'm with like Tiffany and hang out with you guys. I'm not always with Tiffany. I'm like trying to catch up with you guys or with family. If I'm like if Vicky's home, I'll come over and like hang out with her and do something with her. Like that's it. Yeah, with Vicky, you know. Even with Tiffany's home, like I'll just still like talk to Vicky and see what's up, catch up with her. Just don't like shunt all my attention towards my significant other. Talk to hang out with Brandon, Austin. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, it's your first time seeing them too, or it felt like your first time seeing them, and you never really got to talk to them before, right? Like Justin, Jeffrey.
I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've met them before. Like, that's like when I see them, um, I was like very. I'm not sure. It was a weird feeling because I felt on the one hand, I felt like, oh yeah, I've known these people for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, I was like, oh man, I don't like. What do I talk about? Like, what do I say? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was a confusing feeling.
Yeah. I would just ask those general, what do you do? Like general, like the first time you meet someone, so what do you do? Are you still in school? Kind of thing. Get to know them, figure out their interests,
Yeah.
and then I think the second time that you'll meet them again, it's gonna be much easier because you already have a good like foundation. You know, like at least you
Yeah.
met them the
I
first time
think.
already. Now you got the feel of them already.
Yeah, I think it's just like the the mere exposure effect. The more you're exposed to something, the less it bothers you. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So you
That's
just
how we
got
know we did like a good like podcast episode. Is like when the time feels like it flew.
definitely, dude.
Because compared like the last one we recorded, it was like
it
I was
felt
like
like
this actually felt like an hour and a half,
yeah, it felt like forever, dude. I was like, we kept
and
checking
this
the
one
time.
is much quicker.
Much quicker, dude.
Speaking of which, how much time are we at now?
57 minutes.
Two topics done in 1 hour.
Holy shit. And then I've also like reading that post about how the guy, was thinking about if the wife was still attracted to him. I kind of like thought about like myself a little bit. Not in this moment, like I've like right now, we're like pretty good, but in the future, let's say like after we start a family, I think the dynamic tends to will change a little bit. How will like how will a kid affect my relationship with Tiffany?
Hmm.
Will it like become more of who can? I don't know. Will it become more of like a back and forth kind of thing where we're both so into versus how we're every day we're thinking about how we're gonna split up taking care of the kid, going to work, kind of thing, and
Because
if
there's different expectations and different responsibilities.
yeah, it's what's it called? It's like a role um a, a role change.
Right.
Being into significant others, turning into more of a parent per se, and working to ensure that we have security over our heads, or a roof and security and food on the table kind of thing. I think it's I don't know. I wonder if it will change our dynamic or of how we feel towards each other, you know. But I have good hopes. I have good hopes that it wouldn't affect us as much, like at all.
Hmm.
Like I feel pretty good. It's still like if it's a what if question. If that situation ever arises, how will I deal with it, kind of thing. I wonder if it will come up, just so that I'm not blindsided by it. So if it
Hmm.
does happen, prepare myself for the worst, but expect the best.
Makes sense.
But yeah, that's a little bit. That's all. Like after reading that post, that's been on my mind a little bit. But right now, things are great. I don't have really much to worry about right now. Oh,
Nice.
it was a good episode. Good content today. And like doing it over Discord now, like the second time, I feel like it was much better than
Much
the first.
smoother.
Yeah, much smoother too. So
I think the it looks a lot better because we both have lighting now.
yeah,
Because
dude.
the last episode is just like you were like really dark.
Yeah, and that wasn't as clear. All right, so I guess we can just wrap it up.
Yeah.
So at the end of every episode, we do a segment called "What's Up with You,"
Oh shit.
and you want to start first?
Um. Yeah. I've been watching. Wait. What did I talk about last time?
I forget.
Archer, right, or something. Anyways, I've been watching Bob's Burgers a lot on and that show is so funny.
Is it?
I feel like it's like mm, I don't know. It's all very wholesome, you know. Like sometimes you watch like shows where it's like let me compare it to other shows like Family Guy or The Simpsons. I feel like those are like kind of like sometimes they can be a little too like I don't know what's the word like adult. I don't know, but
Adult humor.
yeah. But I feel like Bob's Burgers still has that like it's very wholesome. It's very like light, but
Mm-hmm.
but it's also very like it's not like pandering to kids, you know. But because I feel like it's a kid can watch it and still find a lot of value from it, but it's made for adults. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just find it's a very
I
good
know.
show.
I,
I
I
find
know
it
what
very
you
funny.
mean. Because funny how you bring it up. Because Bob's Burgers, I've seen Tiffany watch that several times. Like she finished seasons of it. I've only catch glimpses of episodes with her, but like I can see how it can. I see more of the humor than I do see its family values that it has. But it's more so just like a family guy trying to provide for his family through the restaurant, and and they have like I guess every episode is like a funny scenario that comes up.
Yeah, it's just like wacky, light.
Like fun, yeah. But that also brings me to my next what's up with you, because like I just finished a whole season or two of The Flash, and like watching that show maybe not maybe realize, but I've known for a while that like that show has really good like familial values, like family
Yeah,
values, and like
There's a lot of episodes where at the end they'll just like have like a apologies, like whole apology
yeah,
scene. Like, you know, I was acting like crazy, and I'm glad that like they have like the
yeah,
whole. I feel
like
like that's like every other episode they have one of those.
definitely, dude. And you know what? It gets me every fucking time because I start tearing up. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, Nick, you learned this shit like 3 episodes ago, yet you're doing the same problem again, and you're still making me cry, motherfucker. Like, it's crazy how, like, I don't know. When Joe West, the dad, talks to Barry and like gives him advice about everything, it's like a whole another level. Like the words that they use, it's like, wow, dude.
You're
Like,
like, is he talking to me?
yeah. It's like, it's because I don't know. I don't think I ever like had those words with my dad, but like it's nice to hear that from some like how another family in a way, even if a
Right.
show, another family can have a dad say that to their son in a way. It's like, wow, I want to be that kind of parent, you know? Like it shows them, like leads them and like helps them learn such really good family values. I highly recommend The Flash, regardless of how you may not like um superheroes. It's very like if you can get over the aspect as like a superhero action show, and like if you can get over the corniness of how the situations turn out to be.
That's like one of the only CW shows I watched was The Flash.
Yeah,
I didn't watch The Arrow. I didn't watch Supergirl.
I didn't watch it. I tried watching Supergirl, but it was, I couldn't get over how corny it was. Like I felt like it was even more cornier version of the Flash. But I didn't really get to see that much of like a family value to it. I guess Supergirl is more so kind of fitting into society where you don't really belong per se.
Yeah.
Arrow, I don't watch the Arrow as much, but I think him is coming from a dark place and like overcoming his like a Batman story kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Flash. That's what I've been up to. I just finished the 6th or 7th season.
I think I only watched up to season 6. Like his comes back.
Yeah, yeah,
Oop,
yeah. His oh,
spoilers.
oh, I just finished that season, and there's another season that's going on right now that is after that. It's still
Is it?
going. Yeah,
Is it like released or is it still ongoing?
it's still ongoing. It's not released to Netflix yet, so you won't see it on Netflix.
What do they
But
have up on Netflix?
the I just finished that season.
Yeah, me too. I finished that a while back.
But yeah, watch The Flash. If you can get over the nerdy tech stuff they talk about, and it's pretty cool.
The reason I got into Bob's Burgers was because I was watching Archer, and the voice actor for Archer is the same voice actor for
Bob's
Bob.
Burgers, yeah.
Yeah,
Is
both
it,
shows are actually. I think I just really like him because I like both shows a lot.
he has a really like distinctive, cool voice.
Yeah,
I don't know how to put it. It's like his voice is like really fun to hear. You know, it's so
it's
like
like
quirky and like
it's perfect voice acting voice. You know.
yeah. But mom, it's like a grown man's voice and like a 14-year-old teenager's like attitude. But yeah. Oh, by the way, we mentioned in the previous episode, but I have the first episode of the vlog out on available for those on Patreon. So
I just got a GoPro, so I'm
yes,
gonna be. It just came in the mail.
mine did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Now I can start recording some more shiznats. So yeah, if you guys are interested in watching, it is on Patreon. However, it is available only Patrons exclusively, just so it has more of an incentive for those who want to support us, and I can give much. We can give more more content to those who are generous enough to support us with
And the
donations.
last episode was, or the last one we recorded was really boring. But if you're still interested, that'll be available for patrons only too.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, that wraps it up. Episode 14. Thank you for listening, guys. And tune in for the next podcast episode. Sorry it came out so late, but we're finally getting a good traction of what we're heading with our podcast now.
We're just figuring it out on.
Yeah.
Plus, we have to figure out like how to do it remotely and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. You know, with the new quarantine life. All right. Till next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.